The sun was dipping low over the manicured greens of the Capital City Club in Brookhaven, painting the sky in strokes of peach and gold that reminded me of the Sundays when Mama used to take me to Piedmont Park for picnics. I pulled my pearl-white Lexus SUV up to the valet stand, the engine humming soft like a hymn before I cut it off. My husband, Marcus Grant, stepped out looking every bit the Morehouse man he prided himself on being. Crisp navy polo tucked into khakis, gold watch catching the light, that easy smile that had won over half of Atlanta's elite circles. To the valets, to the members sipping Arnold Palmers on the veranda, we were still the Grants. Power couple, Buckhead royalty, the ones who closed deals before brunch. Boys trip to Augusta, right? I said, leaning across the console to kiss his cheek. The cologne was new, oud and sandalwood, expensive. He'd splashed it on like armor. Exactly, baby. Master's preview with the fellas. Back Sunday night. He patted the roof of the car twice, the way he did when a deal was sealed. Hold it down for me. In the back seat, our son Elijah, 6 years old going on 60, sat with his little legs swinging, clutching his Captain America backpack like it was a life raft. He hadn't said much all morning, which wasn't like him. Elijah was my talker, the one who narrated every cloud shape on the drive to kindergarten. Today, his eyes were fixed on his daddy's golf bag in the trunk, the one Marcus had loaded himself before I even woke up. Marcus crouched by the open door, ruffling Elijah's curls. Be good for Mama here, help her with the dishes. Elijah nodded, but his grip on the backpack tightened. Marcus didn't notice. He never noticed the small things anymore. I watched him stride toward the clubhouse, waving at a cluster of men in pastel polos, old Morehouse frat brothers, the kind who still called each other bruh at 40. The valet took my keys, and I slid back into the driver's seat, checking the rear view. Elijah's reflection stared back, wide brown eyes unblinking. You okay back there, baby? He didn't answer right away. We pulled out onto the winding drive lined with magnolias, the radio playing low, some neo-soul track Marcus had added to my playlist. I was halfway to the gate when Elijah's voice cut through the music, small but steady. Mama, don't go home tonight. I braked at the stop sign, tires crunching gravel. What you mean, Elijah? We gotta get you bathed and in bed. He leaned forward as far as the seatbelt allowed, whispering like the trees had ears. Daddy's selling our house. Tonight, while we sleep. My foot slipped off the brake. The car rolled forward an inch before I caught it. I turned fully in my seat, heart thumping like a bass line. Elijah Grant, where you hear such mess? I didn't hear it. I saw it. He unzipped his backpack with trembling fingers and pulled out a manila folder, the kind Marcus kept locked in his study. The tab read, Grant Residence, Closing Docs. Inside, a purchase agreement, my signature forged in blue ink, dated tomorrow. Seller, Marcus A. Grant. Buyer, some LLC out of Delaware. Asking price, $1.2 million. Our house, the one we'd poured blood, sweat, and every bonus into for 8 years. I felt the world tilt, like when you stand up too fast after choir rehearsal. How'd you get this, baby? This morning, Daddy was in the shower. I went to get my iPad from his golf bag because he said I could play games on the plane. The folder was in the side pocket with his clubs. I took the papers with shaking hands. My forged signature looped perfect, the way I signed school forms, but the pen pressure was off. Too heavy on the K, too light on the sh. Marcus had practiced. The closing agent's name jumped out, Reginald Hayes, a sleazy title guy from DeKalb who'd been circling our listing for months. I turned him down flat when he lowballed me last spring. Mama, he was on the phone last night, Elijah continued, voice barely above the engine hum. After you went to sleep, I got water and heard him in the office. He said, she'll be asleep, sign the papers, wire the money, she'll never know till it's done. Then he laughed, like when he wins at poker. Poker. The word hit like a slap. Marcus hadn't touched cards since college, or so he claimed. But the late nights, networking, the cash withdrawals and round numbers, the way he flinched when his phone buzzed after 10 p.m., it all clicked into place like puzzle pieces I'd been too proud to admit were missing. I pulled over under a canopy of oaks, the country club fading in the rear view. My hands gripped the wheel so tight my knuckles ached. Elijah, why didn't you tell me sooner? I did try. Last week when you were making sweet tea, I said Daddy had papers with our address and a red stamp. You said it was grown folks' business. Shame flooded me hot and thick. I had brushed him off, distracted by open houses and PTA drama. My baby had been carrying this alone. I reached back, cupping his cheek. I believe you now, every word. We're not going home tonight. His little chest heaved with relief. Where we going? Good question. Our friends were Marcus's friends, frat brothers, golf buddies, the wives who lunch at Neiman's. My mama was in Charlotte with her bad hip. My sister worked nights at Grady. And the house? Our sanctuary with the wraparound porch and the swing Elijah learned to pump his legs on was a trap. I thought of Miss Lorraine, my old sorority big sister, who ran a boutique inn in Midtown. She owed me for comping her daughter's wedding venue. We're going to Miss Lorraine's. She got a room with bunk beds. Elijah nodded, zipping the solder back into his backpack like evidence. I merged onto I-85, the Atlanta skyline rising ahead, glass towers winking in the dusk. My phone buzzed in the cup holder. Marcus. Hey, babe. Flight's delayed. Grabbing dinner with the fellas. Kiss EJ for me. I stared at the text till the screen went black. Kiss EJ. As if he hadn't just signed away our son's bedroom. The inn was a restored Victorian on Piedmont. Fairy lights strung through the magnolias out front. Miss Lorraine met us at the door in a caftan the color of ripe peaches, arms open wide. Keisha Grant, what in the world? Emergency girls' night, I cut in, forcing a smile. AJ's got a school project on historic homes. Thought we'd crash here. She read my eyes, didn't push. Top floor, corner suite. Extra blankets in the cedar chest. The room smelled like lavender and lemon polish. Elijah claimed the bottom bunk, spreading the closing docs on the quilt like homework. I sat beside him, scrolling through my phone with one hand, rubbing his back with the other. The purchase agreement listed contingencies, none. Cash deal. Closing tomorrow at 9 a.m. at Hayes Title on Claremont Road. We need proof, I whispered, something he can't deny. Elijah's eyes lit up. Daddy's ring cam, the one on the front porch, it saves to the cloud. Genius. Marcus had installed it last year after a package theft, bragging about the 4K resolution. I logged into the app, password, still Keisha Loves Marcus 1985, the fool, and there it was, a notification from 647, motion detected. I hit play. Grainy footage, Marcus loading his golf bag into the trunk, then pausing to answer a call. He glanced around, then spoke low. Yeah, she's still asleep. Docs are in the bag. Meet me at the club, we'll sign before tea time. He laughed again, that cold, victorious sound. My stomach lurched. The timestamp burned into my brain. I saved the clip to my phone, then emailed it to myself, to Miss Lorraine, to my work account. Insurance. Elijah was already asleep, one arm flung over the folder. I tucked him in, then sat on the window seat overlooking the city. Somewhere out there, Marcus was laughing with his boys, sipping bourbon, thinking he'd won. But mamas don't play when it comes to their babies. And this mama was a realtor. I knew every loophole in the contract, every dirty trick in the book. I opened my laptop, pulled up the Georgia MLS. Our listing wasn't live. Marcus was doing this off-market, under the table. But the buyer's LLC, I'd seen that name before. Grant Holdings, his shell company. He was selling our house to himself, planning to flip it or hide assets. Classic fraud. My phone buzzed again. Unknown number. I answered, voice steady. Keisha Grant. Mrs. Grant, Reginald Hayes. Got your husband's docs for tomorrow. Just need your wet signature by 8:45. He said you're indisposed? Indisposed? I almost laughed. Mr. Hayes, you're still at the office? Burning the midnight oil? Why? Stay there. I'll be by in an hour. With the police. Dead silence, then a click. I kissed Elijah's forehead, grabbed my keys. Miss Lorraine met me in the hall. You sure you don't want me to call somebody? I am somebody, I said, and meant it. The title office was a squat brick building off Claremont, fluorescent lights buzzing like angry bees. Hayes was pacing the lobby in a cheap suit, sweat beading on his bald head. 2 DeKalb County officers stood by, arms crossed, friends of a client who owed me a favor. Mrs. Grant? Hayes started. Save it. I slapped the purchase agreement on the counter. This is forgery. My signature, my property, without my consent. And you're facilitating fraud. One officer cuffed him, while the other bagged the docs as evidence. Hayes sputtered about misunderstandings, but the forged signature glowed under the blacklight. Ink smudged where Marcus had traced over a photocopy. By midnight, I had a temporary restraining order against the sale. courtesy of a judge who played tennis with my soror. By 1 a.m., Marcus's phone was blowing up. Missed calls from Hayes, from his frat brothers, from the buyer's attorney. I let it ring. Back at the inn, Elijah was sitting up in bed, eyes wide. Did you stop him? For tonight. I climbed in beside him, pulling the quilt to our chins. Tomorrow, we fight smarter. He nestled close, voice sleepy. Mama, can we keep the swing? Baby, we're keeping everything that matters. Outside, Atlanta hummed. Peach cobbler-scented air, distant sirens, the heartbeat of a city that had seen me rise from Section 8 to 6 figures. Marcus thought he could erase us with a pen stroke, but he forgot. I was the one who taught him how to read a contract, and I always filtered through the lace curtains of Miss Lorraine's inn like a soft gospel chorus, warming the hardwood floors and the worry lines etched across my forehead. Elijah was still asleep in the bottom bunk, one arm flung over his Captain America backpack as if guarding it in his dreams. I sat at the antique vanity, laptop open, coffee cooling beside me. The restraining order had bought us time, but time was a currency Marcus knew how to spend faster than most. I needed a plan, and I needed it before he teed off at Augusta. My phone buzzed on the dresser, Miss Lorraine. Breakfast downstairs in 10 brought reinforcements. Reinforcements? In Atlanta, that could mean anything from biscuits to bail money. I slipped into yesterday's slacks and a fresh blouse from the emergency bag I kept in the trunk. Realtor habit, always prepared for a pop-up showing. Elijah stirred when I kissed his curls. Mama? Go back to sleep, baby. I'll bring you grits. Downstairs, the dining room smelled like bacon and redemption. Miss Lorraine stood at the head of the table in a purple head wrap, flanked by 2 women I hadn't seen since Spelman homecoming. Attorney Denise D. Carter, criminal defense turned family law shark, and Tasha Freeman, investigative journalist for Channel 2 Action News. Both Soros, both owed me favors bigger than brunch. Keisha Grant, Dee said, sliding a folder across the tablecloth. You look like you need a miracle and a mimosa. Miracle first. I opened the folder. Inside, a cease and desist drafted at 3 a.m., a motion to freeze Marcus's accounts, and a private investigator's prelim report. Photos of Marcus at an underground poker den in College Park, time-stamped last month. Debt, $487,000. Markers with the kind of men who didn't take Venmo. Tasha poured coffee like she was pouring tea. Word is your husband's been playing with the wrong sharks. They gave him 30 days to square up or start swimming with concrete shoes. Elijah patted in then, rubbing his eyes, backpack slung over one shoulder. The women softened instantly. Miss Lorraine pulled out a chair. Sit, baby. Auntie's got you. He climbed up, eyeing the spread. Cheese, eggs, salmon croquettes, peach cobbler French toast. Dee slid him a plate. Eat up, little man. Heroes need fuel. While he dug in, I laid out the night, the forged docs, the ring cam, Hayes and cuffs. Tasha's eyes lit up like a live shot. This is bigger than Buckhead. This is fraud, conspiracy, attempted grand larceny. You give me the exclusive? After we nail him, I said, but I need more than a story. I need leverage. Dee tapped the PI report. We start with the money trail. Marcus has been siphoning your joint accounts into Grant Holdings for 18 months. Your mother's inheritance, the kids' 529s, even the escrow from your last flip. All gone. My chest tightened. Mama's inheritance, $220,000 she'd saved from 40 years of nursing night shifts. The 529s, Elijah's future, seed money from Morehouse like his daddy. I trusted Marcus with the passwords, the PIN numbers, the safe combination. Love makes fools of the faithful. Elijah looked up from his plate. Mama, Daddy's clubs have a secret pocket. I saw him put a flash drive in there once, said it was grown folks' games. The table went still. Dee leaned in. You still got access to those clubs? They're in the Lexus trunk. He thinks I'm at Pilates. Tasha was already standing. Road trip. We piled into my SUV, me, Dee, Tasha, Elijah in the booster with his backpack like a sidekick. Miss Lorraine stayed to hold the fort. The Capital City Club parking lot was half empty, members already on the course. Marcus's black Range Rover sat in the reserved spot, golf bag strapped to the roof like nothing had changed. I popped the trunk. The bag was there, Titleist logo gleaming. Elijah pointed to the side pocket. There, Mama, behind the ball pouch. I unzipped it careful, like defusing a bomb. Inside, a tiny black flash drive, no label. Dee plugged it into her tablet. Password prompt. Elijah didn't hesitate. Try 081, Daddy's birthday. The screen unlocked. Files, spreadsheets, scanned receipts, audio clips. One labeled Grant_closing. I clicked. Marcus's voice, tinny but clear. Reg, make sure the wire hits Cayman by noon. She'll wake up homeless and clueless. By the time she figures it out, I'll be in Augusta cashing the check. Another file, a ledger. Debts to Vinny the Blade, $300,000 at 18% weekly. Payments marked in red. Last entry, final warning, 48 hours. Tasha whistled low. This is attempted murder by proxy. He's not just selling the house, he's planning to disappear you. Dee was already typing. We take this to Judge Hargrove. Emergency hearing 2 p.m. Freeze everything. Appoint you temporary receiver of all marital assets. Elijah tugged my sleeve. Mama, what about school? I got show and tell. I knelt to his level. Today you're showing the world how brave you are. But first, we keep you safe. Tasha called her cameraman, Malik, discreet, trustworthy. Meet us at the courthouse. Bring the van, but stay dark till I say. The Fulton County Courthouse smelled like lemon polish and desperation. Judge Hargrove's chambers were oak-paneled, degrees from Harvard and Harvard on the wall. She listened without blinking while Dee laid out the evidence. Forged docs, ring cam, flash drive, PI photos. Elijah stood beside me in his little blazer, holding the backpack like a briefcase. And the child, Hargrove asked. He's the witness, Dee said. Overheard the plan, found the evidence. Without him, Mrs. Grant would be homeless by sundown. Hargrove's eyes softened. Young man, you understand you're under oath? Elijah nodded. Yes, ma'am. Daddy said bad words. He said Mama would cry, but it was for the best. Hargrove signed the orders. Asset freeze, emergency custody of Elijah Camille, warrant for Marcus's arrest on fraud and forgery. Deputy U.S. Marshal Service, Marcus was considered a flight risk. By 3:30, the news vans were circling. Tasha went live at 4. Buckhead realtor accused of selling family home in secret deal. Wife and son missing, presumed in danger. I watched from Miss Lorraine's parlor. Elijah asleep on the settee. My phone exploded. Texts from neighbors, Soros, clients. Marcus's face filled the screen, golf bag over his shoulder, frozen in a smile that now looked like a snarl. Dee poured sweet tea. He'll run. Men like him always do. Let him, I said. Every step he takes digs the hole deeper. At 6:12 p.m., the call came. Deputy Marshal Lopez. Mrs. Grant, we have your husband in custody. Picked him up at a Waffle House off I-20, trying to buy a burner phone with cash. He's screaming lawyer, but the evidence is ironclad. I closed my eyes. The swing on the porch, the kitchen where Elijah learned to crack eggs, the bedroom where Marcus used to pray over me. None of it was safe anymore. But we were. Tasha hugged me. Tomorrow we go public, full interview. You tell your story, control the narrative. Elijah woke then, rubbing his eyes. Mama, can we go home now? Not yet, baby, but soon we'll have a new home, one nobody can take. That night, I tucked him into the top bunk, the flash drive on the nightstand like a trophy. Outside, Atlanta's skyline blinked. CNN, Bank of America, the Ferris wheel at Centennial Park. Marcus thought he could erase us with a signature, but signatures can be forged. Love can't, and love was the one thing he'd never accounted for. Miss Lorraine knocked soft. Dinner's ready, shrimp and grits, extra cheese. Elijah grinned. With the crunchy bits? Only way to make 'em. We ate in the kitchen, the four of us, me, Elijah, Dee, Tasha, like a war council planning the next battle. Dee mapped out the divorce, asset recovery, protective order. Tasha scripted the interview, questions that would humanize us, vilify him. Elijah colored a picture of our old house, then crossed it out and drew a new one, smaller, but with a bigger swing. At 10 p.m., my phone buzzed, a known number. I answered on speaker. Keisha, you're making a mistake. The only mistake was trusting you. You think you can humiliate me on TV? I'll bury you in court. You already tried to bury me in debt and lies. How'd that work out? Silence. Then, the boy. Let me talk to Elijah. I looked at my son, asleep again, thumb in mouth like when he was 2. He's done talking to ghosts. I hung up. Dee high-fived me. Tasha recorded the call. More evidence. By midnight, the story was trending. #Buckhead betrayal. Comments poured in. Prayers, outrage, offers of couches and lawyers. Atlanta wrapped around us like a church hug. I stood on the balcony, city lights flickering. Marcus was in a holding cell, golf bag confiscated, watch pawned for commissary. Tomorrow, the world would see his face next to the word fraud. But tonight, my baby was safe, my sisters were armed, and the truth was a weapon sharper than any foreclosure notice. I whispered to the skyline, you wanted the house, Marcus? Keep
The Channel
it.
2
We're
Action News
building a
studio
home.
smelled like hairspray and hot lights, the kind that make your makeup slide if you blink wrong. I sat on the plush gray couch in a navy sheath dress I'd borrowed from Miss Lorraine's closet, pearls tied around my neck like armor. Elijah was backstage with Tasha's producer, coloring a picture of the new house he wanted. Blue shutters, tire swing, a dog named Justice. The green room mirror reflected a woman I barely recognized, eyes puffy from no sleep, but chin high like Mama taught me at the beauty shop on Campbellton Road. Tasha strode in, blazer crisp, notepad in hand. 5 minutes to air. You ready to tell Atlanta what Marcus Grant really is? Born ready. My voice didn't shake. Not anymore. The floor director counted down. 3, 2, 1. The red light blinked on. Good evening, Atlanta. I'm Tasha Freeman with a Channel 2 exclusive. Tonight, we sit down with Keisha Grant, the Buckhead realtor whose husband allegedly tried to sell their $1.2 million home out from under her while she slept. Keisha, thank you for being here. Thank you for having me, Tasha, and for believing me, Tasha. The first question was soft. Take us back to Thursday. You dropped Marcus at the golf club. What happened next? I told it straight. No tears, just facts. The forged docs in Elijah's backpack, the ring cam audio, the midnight raid on Hayes' title. By the time I got to Elijah whispering, Daddy's selling our house tonight, the control room was silent. Tasha held up a still from the cam, Marcus on the porch, phone to air, laughing. This is the man Atlanta knows as a Morehouse mentor, a deacon at Cascade United. How does it feel to see this side of him? Like waking up in a stranger's bed after 8 years of marriage. The words tasted like truth serum. But the real victim here is my son. Elijah's 6. He shouldn't know what foreclosure means, much less hear his daddy plan it. Cut to pre-taped clip, Elijah in silhouette, voice distorted. I found the papers in Daddy's golf bag. He said Mama would cry, but it was okay. Twitter exploded. #ProtectElijah trending statewide. The switchboard lit up. Offers of pro bono therapy, GoFundMe links, a viral video of a Spelman alum pledging her commission check. Back live, Tasha leaned in. Marcus's attorney claims this is a marital misunderstanding. Your response? I smiled, slow and Sunday sharp. Misunderstanding is forgetting an anniversary. Forging my signature on a deed while I tuck our child in, that's a felony. The interview ended with a bombshell. Dee Carter, live from the courthouse steps, announcing a $5 million countersuit for fraud, emotional distress, and intentional infliction of harm. Mrs. Grant will seek sole custody, full asset recovery, and a restraining order extending to Mr. Grant's known associates. I walked off set to applause from the crew. Elijah ran to me, arms wide. Mama, you were on TV. Everybody saw. Everybody saw the truth, baby. Miss Lorraine waited in the lobby with a cooler of fried chicken and a bottle of Moet. To new beginnings, she toasted. We clinked plastic cups in the parking lot, downtown traffic humming like a choir. By noon, the fallout was biblical. Marcus's firm, Grant Luxury Holdings, issued a statement suspending him indefinitely. His frat chapter revoked his key. Cascade United's pastor called for a special deacon meeting. And the Sharks? Vinny Caputo's name surfaced in a subpoena. Turns out Marcus owed him the $300K plus interest, and the house sale was meant to square it before Vinny squared him. Dee texted, "Discovery just dropped." We met at her office in a glass tower off Peachtree. The conference room overlooked Piedmont Park, dogwoods blooming like forgiveness. On the table, a stack of bank records, emails, and, Lord have mercy, a life insurance policy on me for $3 million, beneficiary Marcus A. Grant, double indemnity for accidental death. Dee slid it across. He upped it 6 months ago. Premiums paid from your joint account. My knees buckled. Elijah had been right about more than the house. Marcus wasn't just erasing us, he was planning to cash us in. Tasha burst in, cameraman trailing. We got a tip. Marcus is at Hartsfield, private terminal, trying to charter to Nassau. Dee was already dialing Judge Hargrove. Emergency hearing, 4 p.m., flight risk addendum. The courthouse was a zoo, reporters, sorrows in pink and green, a gospel choir from Elijah's school holding vigil with signs, justice for Keisha and EJ. Hargrove banged her gavel at 4:03. Mr. Grant is ordered to surrender his passport. Any attempt to leave the jurisdiction will result in immediate remand. At 4:17, Deputy Lopez called. We got him, gate F12, crying like a baby. I didn't go to the airport. Instead, Elijah and I drove to our house. Police tape across the door, but the swing still swayed in the breeze. I sat on it with him, pushing off with one heel. Mama, will we ever come back? This house is just walls, baby. Home is where nobody can sell your peace. That night, we stayed at Dee's condo in Midtown, marble counters, skyline views, a guest room with Spider-Man sheets she'd overnighted from Amazon. Elijah fell asleep to the hum of the city. I sat on the balcony, wine glass in hand, scrolling the GoFundMe Tasha had set up. $87,000 and climbing. Caption, help Keisha and Elijah rebuild. My phone buzzed. Marcus, from the Fulton County Jail. I let it ring to voicemail. Keisha, you're ruining me. The firm, the frat, everything. Call off the dogs. We can fix this. I love you. Love. The word curdled. I deleted the message, blocked the number. Dee joined me, pouring herself a glass. Tomorrow we file for divorce. Irreconcilable differences, fault-based. You keep the Lexus, the business, the dog if you want one. I want my name back, I said. Keisha Monroe. Grant was his brand, not mine. She clinked her glass to mine. To Keisha Monroe, realtor extraordinaire. The next morning, Elijah had a new mission. Mama, can we get a ring cam for the new house so nobody sneaks? 2 cameras, I promised, and a dog with teeth. We spent the day house hunting, smaller places, Decatur bungalows with porches and good schools. I showed Elijah a Craftsman on Howard Avenue, blue shutters already painted. He ran the yard, arms wide like an airplane. This one, Mama, Justice can dig here. Justice, the dog already had a name. By evening, the offer was in, $412,000, cash from the GoFundMe and my escrow accounts Marcus hadn't touched. Seller accepted by 8 p.m., closing in 14 days. Tasha called. You see the news? I flipped to Channel 11. Marcus in an orange jumpsuit perp walked from the jail to a transport van. Caption, Buckhead broker busted in fraud scheme. But the real kicker came at 10. Vinny Caputo arrested in a sweep, RICO charges, underground gambling. Turns out Marcus had been his golden goose. With Vinny locked up, the dead died with him. Dee texted, Karma's a realtor with a gavel. That night, Elijah and I cooked spaghetti in Dee's kitchen, sauce bubbling, garlic bread toasting. He stirred with a wooden spoon taller than his arm. Mama, when Daddy gets out, will he be sorry? I tasted the sauce, added a pinch of sugar. Some people only learn when the consequences come home to roost, but we don't wait on sorry, we build anyway. He nodded, serious, like Nehemiah. I laughed, exactly like Nehemiah. We ate on the balcony, city lights twinkling below. Elijah raced his juice box. To new houses and Justice the dog. To us, I corrected, always us. Later, I tucked him in, kissed his forehead. He was asleep before I turned off the light. I stood in the doorway, watching his chest rise and fall. 6 years old, and he'd saved us twice, once with whispers, once with evidence. My little prophet. My phone pinged, one last email. Subject, offer accepted, 123 Howard Ave, closing documents attached. I signed with my maiden name, fingers steady, Keisha Monroe. The ink dried like a promise. Outside, Atlanta slept under a blanket of stars. Somewhere, Marcus stared at a jail ceiling, counting cracks instead of dollars. Somewhere, Vinny lawyered up. Somewhere, a blue-shuttered house waited for laughter and paw prints and a swing that creaked in the wind. I whispered to the night, "You wanted to sell my peace, Marcus?" Too late. I already bought it
on
back.
123
with
Howard
interest.
Avenue was set for a Wednesday at 10 a.m., but by 7:30, I was already pacing the front porch of the empty bungalow like a bride left at the altar. The morning smelled like wet pine and possibility, Decatur's old oaks dripping from an overnight shower, the air thick with that Georgia sweetness that makes you believe in second chances. Elijah sat on the top step, legs swinging, feeding a stray tabby he'd already named Justice Second. "She showed up at sunrise, Mama. Said she's our new guard cat." I laughed despite the knot in my stomach. "Cats don't talk, baby. This one does. Look." He held up a piece of turkey bacon. Justice Second snatched it, then rubbed against my ankle like a benediction. Dee pulled up in her silver Benz, heels clicking on the sidewalk. "Sign here, initial there, and congratulations, you just bought your freedom for $412 large." She handed me a pen shaped like a house key. The Sellers, an elderly couple relocating to Savannah, had left a welcome basket on the porch, peach jam, a loaf of sourdough, a note that read, "May this home hold only love." I tucked it into Elijah's backpack next to his Captain America folder, now stuffed with crayon drawings of the life we were building. Inside, the house was smaller than Buckhead, but louder with hope. Hardwood floors that begged for sock slides, a kitchen with a window over the sink looking onto a backyard big enough for a tire swing and a vegetable garden. Elijah ran from room to room, claiming the one with the slanted ceiling. "This is my spaceship, Mama. Daddy can't find us here." Daddy. The word still landed like a bruise, but the swelling was going down. By noon, the U-Haul was unloaded. 3 sorors, 2 cousins, and Miss Lorraine directing traffic like a general. Furniture was mismatched but paid for. A thrift store dining table, a Craigslist sectional, a brand new bunk bed still in plastic. Tasha live-streamed the move-in for her Atlanta Strong segment. #Monroe House Rising. Donations rolled in. Home Depot gift cards, a year of pest control, a puppy playdate scheduled for Justice Second's future sibling. Dee cornered me in the kitchen while Elijah tested the swing. Marcus's preliminary hearing is Friday. They're offering a plea, 5 years, probation, restitution. You take it, he walks in 3 with good behavior. I stirred lemonade with a vengeance. He tried to sell my child's future. 3 years is a long weekend. Judge Hargrove's leaning hard. The DA wants a clean win. No trial, no circus. I looked out the window, Elijah laughing as Justice Second chased a butterfly. Let him take the plea. I'm not giving him another minute of my peace. Friday came quick. The courthouse smelled like bleach and old coffee. Marcus shuffled in wearing a jail jumpsuit 2 sizes too big, ankles shackled, eyes scanning the gallery till they landed on me. I sat front row, navy suit pressed, pearls gleaming, Elijah's hand in mine. He tried a smile, crooked, desperate. I stared through him like he was glass. The prosecutor laid it out. Forgery, wire fraud, conspiracy to commit theft by deception. Evidence, ring cam, flash drive, forged deed, Vinny's ledger. Marcus's public defender, a kid fresh from Emory, stammered about marital stress and temporary insanity. Hargrove wasn't having it. Mr. Grant, you defrauded your wife of her marital home, endangered your minor child, and attempted to profit from same. The plea is generous. Do you accept? Marcus stood, chains rattling. Your Honor, I was under duress. Answer the question. He glanced at me again. I met his eyes, unblinking. You did this. He swallowed. Yes, ma'am, I accept. 5 years, $1.2 million restitution, permanent restraining order. Elijah squeezed my fingers. Is it over, Mama? It's the intermission, baby. Now we write the next act. Outside, cameras flashed. Tasha went live. Justice served in Buckhead betrayal case. Marcus Grant sentenced. Family begins anew. I shielded Elijah's face, but he peeked out, waving at the lens like a star. That night, we christened the house with pizza on paper plates and a dance party to Kirk Franklin. Elijah fell asleep, mid-twirl. Justice 2 curled on his chest. I carried him to the spaceship room, tucked him under a quilt Mama had mailed from Charlotte. The walls were bare, except for one framed photo. Us at Piedmont Park, Elijah on Marcus's shoulders, my smile real once upon a time. I left it up. History wasn't the enemy. Forgetting was. Saturday, the neighborhood welcomed us proper. Mrs. Delgado next door brought tamales. The couple across the street, 2 dads with a toddler, offered to mow till we got settled. The mailman left a welcome card with a Publix coupon. Decatur wrapped around us like a hug from Jesus. Sunday, we went to church. Cascade United, same pew we'd occupied for 8 years. Pastor Jenkins met us at the door, eyes soft. Keisha, the deacons voted. Marcus is removed from leadership. You and Elijah are family here, always. The choir sang total praise. I lifted my hands, tears slipping, but they tasted like release. Elijah stood on the pew, belting every word he knew. When offering came, he dropped in his tooth fairy dollar. For the new swing fund, he whispered. After service, sorors swarmed. Hugs, casseroles, offers to babysit. One handed me an envelope, $5,000 from the Spelman Atlanta Alumni Chapter. Seed money from Monroe Realty 2.0. I cried in the parking lot, ugly and loud. Elijah patted my back. It's okay, Mama. Happy tears water the garden. Monday, I opened an office in a co-op space on Ponce. Keisha Monroe Realty. Logo, a house with wings. First client, a single mom fleeing domestic violence, referred by the nonprofit where I'd started volunteering. I comped her commission, found her a bungalow 2 streets over. She hugged me like I'd hung the moon. Marcus's restitution check started trickling, $2,000 a month garnished from his prison account. I deposited everyone into Elijah's 529, now retitled Monroe Future Fund. Interest accrued like grace. Summer blurred into fall. Elijah started first grade at Winona Park Elementary, backpack heavier with books than fear. He made friends, Malik from down the block, a girl named Amara who beat him at tetherball. Justice 2 ruled the backyard, chasing squirrels and napping on the porch swing. One October evening, I came home to find Elijah on the porch with a manila envelope. It came in the mail, Mama, no return address. Inside, a single sheet, prison stationery. Marcus's handwriting, shaky but legible. Keisha, I see you on the news. New house, new business, new life. I hate it. I hate that you're thriving without me. But I hate myself more. The counselor here says I have to own it. So here it is. I was a coward. Gambling wasn't a game. It was a god. I worshipped it till it demanded my family a sacrifice. I'm sorry. Not for the cameras. For real. Tell Elijah his daddy was a fool, but he's still his daddy. If he ever wants to write, I'll be here. If not, I understand. Marcus. I read it twice, then folded it small and slipped it into my Bible, between Psalms and Proverbs. Elijah watched, quiet. What did he say? That he's learning, slowly. Will we write back? When you're ready. No rush. He nodded, went back to swinging. Justice 2 leapt into his lap, purring like a motor. Thanksgiving we hosted, 20 people crammed around a table that seated 8. Miss Lorraine brought greens, Dee brought wine, Tasha brought cameras for a 1 year later special. Elijah said grace, thank you for new houses, new friends, and Mama's biscuits. Amen. When offering came, he dropped in his tooth fairy dollar. For the new swing fund, he whispered. After service, sorors swarmed, hugs, casseroles, offers to babysit. One handed me an envelope, $5,000 from the Spelman Atlanta Alumni Chapter, seed money for Monroe Realty 2.0. I cried in the parking lot, ugly and loud. Elijah patted my back. It's okay, Mama. Happy tears water the garden. Monday, I opened an office in a co-op space on Ponce. Keisha Monroe Realty. Logo, a house with wings. First client, a single mom fleeing domestic violence, referred by the nonprofit where I'd started volunteering. I comped her commission, found her a bungalow 2 streets over. She hugged me like I'd hung the moon. Marcus's restitution check started trickling, $2,000 a month, garnished from his prison account. I deposited everyone into Elijah's 529, now retitled Monroe Future Fund. Interest accrued like grace. Summer blurred into fall. Elijah started first grade at Winona Park Elementary, backpack heavier with books than fear. He made friends, Malik from down the block, a girl named Amara who beat him at tetherball. Justice 2 ruled the backyard, chasing squirrels and napping on the porch swing. Got home one October evening to find Elijah on the porch with a manila envelope. It came in the mail, Mama. No return address. Inside, a single sheet. Prison stationery. Marcus's handwriting, shaky but legible. Keisha, I see you on the news. New house, new business, new life. I hate it. I hate that you're thriving without me, but I hate myself more. The counselor here says I have to own it, so here it is. I was a coward. Gambling wasn't a game, it was a god. I worshipped it till it demanded my family a sacrifice. I'm sorry. Not for the cameras. For real. Tell Elijah his daddy was a fool, but he's still his daddy. If he ever wants to write, I'll be here. If not, I understand. Marcus. I read it twice, then folded it small and slipped it into my Bible, between Psalms and Proverbs. Elijah watched, quiet. What did he say? That he's learning, slowly.
No rush.
Will we write back?
He
When
nodded,
you're ready.
went back to swinging. Just a second leaped into his lap, purring like a motor. Thanksgiving, we hosted. 20 people crammed around a table that seated 8. Miss Lorraine brought greens, Dee brought wine, Tasha brought cameras for a 1 year later special. Elijah said grace. Thank you for new houses, new friends, and Mama's biscuits. Amen. Christmas, we cut a tree from the front yard, a scraggly cedar Elijah insisted had character. We decorated with popcorn strings and ornaments from the dollar store. Under it, one gift for Elijah, a puppy. Golden retriever mix, floppy ears, adoption papers signed Justice Monroe. The scream he let out shook the rafters. New Year's Eve, we stood on the porch at midnight, sparklers fizzing. Elijah wrote 2026 in the air. This year, Mama, I'm gonna read chapter books and teach Justice to fetch. I kissed his curls. And I'm gonna close 10 deals, plant tomatoes, and keep choosing us. Spring brought dovewoods and open houses. Monroe Realty hit 7 figures in sales. I hired an assistant, Malik's mama, fresh from real estate school. Elijah's teacher called him a leader in the making. He still watched, but now with wonder instead of worry. One May afternoon, a letter came. Thick envelope, return address, Georgia Diagnostic Prison. Inside, a drawing from Marcus. Stick figure family under a tree labeled I Remember. And a check, $50,000. Final restitution lump sum, proceeds from the Buckhead House auction. The note read, sold for 1.4 M, your half. Use it well. I stared at the check till the numbers blurred. Elijah peeked over my shoulder. That our old house money? Part of it. He thought a minute, then ran inside. Came back with his piggy bank shaped like a rocket. Add it to the swing fund. We can get the kind with the Ford. I laughed till I cried, then deposited the check into the Monroe Future Fund. Interest would compound till he was 18, enough for Morehouse, Spelman, or wherever his dreams took him. Summer solstice, we threw a block party. Grill smoking, kids chalking the sidewalk, Justice and Justice Second herding toddlers like sheep.
Tasha filmed a follow-up. From betrayal to block party, Keisha Monroe's triumph. Views hit 1 million in a day. That night, Elijah and I sat on the swing, fireflies blinking like paparazzi. He leaned his head on my shoulder. Mama, remember when we hid in the car? Every day. Was you scared? Terrified. But you made me brave. He smiled, sleepy. We're a good team. The best. August brought a heat wave and a surprise. Dee called. Marcus is up for parole. Good behavior, counseling, the works. Hearing September. I sat in the kitchen, AC humming. Elijah was at Malik's building a fort. I thought of the letter, the drawing, the check. Thought of the man who'd once carried Elijah on his shoulders through Piedmont Park, singing Ain't No Mountain. I called the parole board, left a statement. Marcus Grant has served his time and paid his debt. My son and I are safe, thriving, and unafraid. We support his release with the condition he never contact us unless Elijah initiates. Some doors close for good. September 15th, parole granted. Marcus walked out of prison with a bus ticket and a duffel. Tasha tracked him to a halfway house in Macon, working maintenance at a church. No scandals, no headlines, just a man learning to live small. October, Elijah turned 7. We celebrated with a superhero party, caped cupcakes, a bounce house, Justice in a Batman mask. He blew out candles, eyes squeezed tight. Later, he whispered his wish, that everybody gets a safe home. I hugged him till he squirmed. Working on it, baby. Fall faded into winter. The cedar tree grew ornaments of ice. We baked peach cobbler, watched the Falcons lose, read chapter books by the fireplace. Elijah's nightmares stopped. He still watched, but now he narrated joy. Mama, the moon's following us. Justice caught a leaf. Score. One December evening, snow flurried, rare for Decatur. We stood on the porch, flakes melting on our tongues. Elijah looked up, eyes wide. Mama, remember when we thought snow was impossible? I remember when a lot of things felt impossible. He took my hand, but we made it snow anyway. I laughed, spinning him till we were dizzy. Inside, the tree glowed, Justice snoring under it. Stockings hung. Keisha, Elijah, Justice, just a second. No empty spaces. Later, tucking him in, he asked, Mama, when I'm big, can I be a realtor like you? You can be anything, but promise me one thing. What? Always initial every page. He giggled, sleepy. Deal. I kissed his forehead, turned off the light. The house settled around us, creaks like lullabies, the swing tapping the porch rail in the wind. Outside, snow hushed the world. Inside, our hearts beat loud and unafraid. I whispered to the dark, You tried to sell our story, Marcus, but we wrote the ending ourselves. The snow melted by morning, leaving Decatur's sidewalks slick and the air sharp with pine. I woke before the alarm, the house quiet, except for Justice's soft snores from the foot of Elijah's bed. 7 years old today, my baby, my hero, my reason for every sunrise. I slipped into the kitchen, started the grits, cracked eggs one-handed the way Mama taught me at the Stoves on Campbellton Road. The radio played low, WJZ, Sunday morning gospel spilling through the speakers like warm honey. Elijah patted in at 6:47, curls wild, Captain America pajamas twisted. Mama, it's my birthday. Can Justice open my presents? Dogs got thumbs now, I teased, sliding him a plate. He grinned, syrup already on his chin. By 8 o'clock, the house buzzed. Dee with a balloon bouquet shaped like a 7. Tasha with a camera crew for a birthday after betrayal follow-up. Miss Lorraine with a sheet cake iced in Spellman colors. Elijah blew out candles before noon. Wish whispered so soft only Justice heard. The crew caught every second. Laughter, frosting on noses, just a second batting at streamers. Tasha pulled me aside on the porch. Ratings are through the roof. Network wants a docuseries, Monroe Rising. 6 episodes, your story, your rules. I watched Elijah chase Malik around the tire swing. Only if the money funds the Safe House project. Every dime. Done. She hugged me, blazer crisp. You're changing the game, Keisha. The Safe House project, Monroe Haven, had started as a dream in Dee's condo, scribbled on a napkin. Transitional housing for domestic violence survivors, on-site daycare, job training, legal aid. The GoFundMe had seeded it. Marcus's restitution watered it. Now, with network money, we could break ground. January brought blueprints. I met the architect at a coffee shop on Sycamore. Exposed brick, local art, the kind of place Buckhead forgot existed. She spread plans across the table. 6 units, communal kitchen, playground shaped like a fortress. Solar panels, security gates, therapy garden. You want trauma-informed design? Every inch. I traced the daycare wing. Name it after Elijah. February, we closed on the land. 2 acres off Memorial Drive, former church camp, magnolias older than emancipation. The seller, a deacon from Cascade, donated half. God don't charge interest, he winked. March, demolition day. Elijah wielded a sledgehammer taller than him, supervised by hard hats and sorors in pink boots. Tasha live-streamed, #Monroe Haven Rising. Views hit 2 million. Donations poured. Home Depot lumber, Sherwin-Williams paint, a landscaper pledging native plants. April, framing went up. I worked sun up to dusk, showings by day, Haven by night. Elijah became site mascot, passing out water bottles, drawing chalk murals on the foundation, superheroes with tool belts. One evening, he tugged my sleeve. Mama, can Daddy see it when it's done? I knelt, dirt on my knees. If he earns it, one day at a time. May, the roof. We raised the final beam under a sky so blue it hurt. Elijah signed it in Sharpie. Elijah Monroe, age 7, saved the day. The crew cheered, hard hats off. June, drywall. I hired survivors as subcontractors, women who'd fled with nothing but kids and courage. Their hands shook at first, then steadied. One, Tamika, told me over lunch, Miss Keisha, I thought I'd never hold a hammer again. Now I'm building my future. July, paint. Elijah chose the colors. Butter yellow for hope, sage green for healing. We rolled walls till midnight, radio blasting Kirk Franklin. Just a second supervised from a windowsill, tail flicking like a metronome. August, moving day for the model
2
unit.
toddlers, fresh from a shelter, crossed the threshold with tears. "This my home?" she whispered. "All yours." I handed her the keys shaped like tiny houses. Tasha filmed the ribbon cutting, city council, Soros, news crews, Elijah in a hard hat cutting the tape with plastic scissors. The sign read, Monroe Haven, where safety is homemade. September, Marcus's first parole check-in. Dee forwarded the report. Clean UA, steady job at the Macon Church, weekly counseling. He'd written Elijah a letter, construction paper, crayon drawings of golf clubs and swings. I read it aloud at the dinner table. Dear Elijah, I learned to use a miter saw today, made a birdhouse, thought of you. I'm proud of your haven. Maybe one day I can help build a swing, if you want. Love, Dad. Elijah traced the birdhouse. Can we send him a picture of justice? One step at a time, baby. October, Monroe Realty hit 2 million in sales. I promoted Malik's mom to partner, gave her the Buckhead listings. You earned it, I said. She cried in the closing room. November, Thanksgiving at the Haven. 20 families, folding tables end to end, turkey and dressing, mac and cheese, sweet potato pie. Elijah said grace. Thank you for roofs that don't leak, mamas who don't flinch, and dogs who don't judge. December, snow again. We strung lights on every unit, a tree in the courtyard. Elijah hung a star made from Haven scraps. Shanice's toddler wobbled beneath it, pointing. Pity star. Pretty star, I corrected, voice thick. Christmas Eve, we hosted a toy drive. Elijah sorted gifts by age, Justice a second batting ribbons. A news crew caught him handing a doll to a girl with braids like his ones were. Santa's busy, he said. I'm his helper. Christmas morning, stockings bulged. New cleats for Elijah, a bone for Justice, a collar for Justice Second. Under the tree, one gift from Marcus, delivered via D. A wooden swing, hand-carved, engraved, for Elijah. May you always fly higher. Elijah ran his fingers over the letters. Mama, can we hang it? At the Haven, for everybody. New Year's Eve, we counted down on the courtyard lawn, sparklers fizzing. Elijah wrote 2027 in the air. This year, I'm learning to ride without training wheels. I kissed his curls, and I'm learning to trust the road. Spring 2027, Monroe Haven expanded, 12 units, waiting list a mile long. I hired Tamika as site manager, Shanice as daycare lead. The garden bloomed, tomatoes fat like fists, sunflowers taller than Elijah. Summer, Elijah turned 8. We celebrated with a water slide in the courtyard, Justice in a life jacket. Tasha's docuseries premiered. 6 episodes, 22 million views, Emmy buzz. The final scene, me on the swing Marcus carved, Elijah pushing, voiceover. Home isn't where you start, it's where you choose to stay. Fall, a letter from Macon. Marcus had finished his carpentry apprenticeship, built playgrounds for a nonprofit. Enclosed, a photo of a swing set he'd made. Engraved, Monroe Haven, built with love. On the back, permission to visit, 1 hour, supervised. Your call. I showed Elijah at dinner. He chewed his spaghetti, thinking, can Justice come? If you want. October, the visit. Marcus arrived in a clean shirt, hands calloused, eyes older. Elijah met him at the gate, Justice on a leash. They walked the grounds, Marcus pushing Elijah on the carved swing. Higher, higher. I watched from the porch, heart in my throat. After an hour, Marcus knelt. I gotta go, son, but all right, and build, whatever you need. Elijah hugged him quick, then ran to me. Marcus nodded once, got in his truck, drove away. No drama, no cameras, just a father and a son, one swing at a time. Winter, Monroe Haven broke ground on Phase 2, 20 units, vocational wing. Elijah designed the playground, zip line, climbing wall, a stage for talent shows. For kids who need to be loud, he said. Spring 2028, Elijah turned 9. He read his first chapter book aloud to the Haven kids, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. They sat rapt, just a second on his lap. I leaned in the doorway, tears sneaking. Summer, Monroe Realty hit 5 million. I bought the building on Ponce, painted the door Spellman blue. Hired 3 more agents, all survivors, all fierce. Fall, Marcus sent another switting. This one for the new playground, engraved Elijah's courage. Elijah hung it himself, tongue out in concentration. Winter, snow again. We built a snowman in the courtyard, carrot nose, scarf from my old Buckhead days. Elijah named him Marcus. He's learning to stand still, he said. Spring 2029, Elijah turned 10. Double digits. We celebrated with a block party, grill smoking, bounce house, a cake shaped like a house. He blew out candles, wish whispered, for every kid to have a swing. Summer, Monroe Haven hit capacity, 32 families, waiting list closed. I started a second location in College Park, broke ground on Elijah's 10th birthday. Fall, a letter from Marcus, promoted to foreman, building tiny homes for veterans, thought of you. Enclosed, a keychain shaped like a house, engraved Monroe. Elijah hung it on his backpack. For luck, he said. Winter, Christmas at the Haven. 50 kids, a tree taller than the units, carols in 3 languages. Elijah played Joseph in the Nativity, Justice is the donkey. I cried in the back row, Miss Lorraine passing tissues. New Year's Eve 2030, we counted down on the roof of the original Haven, skyline glittering. Elijah wrote 2031 in sparklers.
This year, Mama, I'm trying out for basketball. I kissed his forehead. And I'm opening Haven 3 in Savannah. He grinned. We're unstoppable. Spring 2030, Elijah turned 11. He made the team number 7. I coached from the bleachers, voice hoarse by halftime. Monroe Realty hit 10 million. I bought Mama a condo in Charlotte, paid cash. Summer, Phase 2 opened. 20 more families, a gym, a recording studio for teen artists. Elijah cut the ribbon, justice at his heels. Fall, Marcus visited again. 2 hours this time. They built a birdhouse together, Elijah's design, Marcus's hands. I watched from the garden, tomatoes ripe on the vine. Winter, snow. We sled it down the courtyard hill on cafeteria trays, Elijah whooping, justice biking. The snowman this year, Keisha, scarf and all. Spring 2029, Elijah turned 10. Double digits. We celebrated with a block party, grill smoking, bounce house, a cake shaped like a house. He blew out candles, Wish whispered, for every kid to have a swing. Summer, Monroe Haven hit capacity, 32 families, waiting list closed. I started a second location in College Park, broke ground on Elijah's 10th birthday. Fall, a letter from Marcus. Promoted to foreman, building tiny homes for veterans. Thought of you. Enclosed, a keychain shaped like a house, engraved Monroe. Elijah hung it on his backpack. For luck, he said. Winter, Christmas at the Haven. 50 kids, a tree taller than the units, Carl's in 3 languages. Elijah played Joseph, Justice as the donkey. I cried in the back row, Miss Lorraine passing tissues. New Year's Eve 2030, rooftop again. Elijah wrote 2031 in sparklers. This year, Mama, I'm trying out for basketball. I kissed his forehead. And I'm opening Haven 3 in Savannah. He grinned. We're unstoppable. Spring 2030, Elijah turned 11. He made the team number 7. I coached from the bleachers, voice hoarse by halftime. Monroe Realty hit 10 million. I bought Mama a condo in Charlotte, paid cash. Summer, Phase 2 opened. 20 more families, a gym, a recording studio for teen artists. Elijah cut the ribbon, justice at his heels. Fall, Marcus visited again. 2 hours this time. They built a birdhouse together, Elijah's design, Marcus's hands. I watched from the garden, tomatoes ripe on the vine. Winter, snow. We sledded down the courtyard hill on cafeteria trays, Elijah whooping, justice barking. The snowman this year, Keisha, scarf and all. Spring 2029, Elijah turned 10. Double digits. We celebrated with a block party, grill smoking, bounce house, a cake shaped like a house. He blew out candles, Wish whispered, for every kid to have a swing. Summer, Monroe Haven hit capacity, 32 families, waiting list closed. I started a second location in College Park, broke ground on Elijah's 10th birthday. Fall, a letter from Marcus. Promoted to foreman, building tiny homes for veterans. Thought of you. Enclosed, a keychain shaped like a house, engraved Monroe. Elijah hung it on his backpack. For luck, he said. Winter, Christmas at the Haven. 50 kids, a tree taller than the units, Carl's in 3 languages. Elijah played Joseph, Justice as the donkey. I cried in the back row, Miss Lorraine passing tissues. New Year's Eve 2030, rooftop again. Elijah wrote 2031 in sparklers. This year, Mama, I'm trying out for basketball.
I'm opening Haven 3 in Savannah. He grinned. We're unstoppable. Spring 2030, Elijah turned 11. He made the team number 7. I coached from the bleachers, voice hoarse by halftime. Monroe Realty hit 10 million. I bought Mama a condo in Charlotte, paid cash. Summer, Phase 2 opened. 20 more families, a gym, a recording studio for teen artists. Elijah cut the ribbon, justice at his heels. Fall, Marcus visited again, 2 hours this time. They built a birdhouse together, Elijah's design, Marcus's hands. I watched from the garden, tomatoes ripe on the vine. Winter, snow.
We sledded down the courtyard hill on cafeteria trays, Elijah whooping, Justice barking. The snowman this year, Keisha, scarf and all. Spring 2031, Elijah turned 12. He read his first poem at the Haven Talent Show about swings and second chances. The crowd gave a standing ovation, Sorrow's dabbing eyes. Summer, Haven 3 broke ground in Savannah. Beach views, wraparound porches. Elijah designed the playground, lighthouse slide, shipwreck climbing wall. Fall, Monroe Realty went national. Franchise model, survivor agents in 5 states. I flew to Chicago for the launch. Elijah's drawing of a swing in my carry-on. Winter, Christmas. 100 kids now, 3 trees, a choir that shook the rafters. Elijah played drums, offbeat but proud. Marcus sent a video, him and Macon building a playground, waving at the camera. Elijah waved back at the screen. New Year's Eve 2032, rooftop again. Elijah wrote 2033 in the sky. This year, Mama, I'm getting my learner's permit. I laughed till I cried, over my dead body. He hugged me tight. Never, Mama, we're just getting started. The years folded like pages in a book we kept writing. Elijah grew, taller, voice deeper, still watching, still narrating joy. Monroe Haven became a network, 10 locations, thousands housed, jobs created, futures launched. Monroe Realty hit 50 million, then 100. I spoke at TED, wrote a book, testified before Congress. Elijah illustrated it, swings on every page. Marcus rebuilt, slow and steady. Annual visits, always supervised, always ending with a new swing. He never asked for forgiveness. He earned it in lumber and nails. One spring day, 2035, Elijah turned 18. We stood on the original Haven porch, now painted butter yellow, the swing creaking in the breeze. He held his Morehouse acceptance letter, tears in his eyes. Mama, I'm gonna study architecture, build havens for kids who need swings. I hugged him till he squirmed. You already did, baby. That night, we hung a new plaque by the gate. Monroe Haven, founded by Keisha Monroe, inspired by Elijah Monroe, age 6, who whispered, Mama, don't go home. The swing creaked. Justice, gray-muzzled now, slept beneath it. Justice Second's grandkittens chased fireflies. The courtyard glowed with string lights, laughter echoing. I whispered to the stars, you tried to sell our story world, but we built the sequel ourselves, chapter by chapter, swing by swing. Elijah took my hand. Ready for the next one, Mama? Born ready. And we walked inside, the door closing soft behind us. Home wrapping around us like the safest
2035
prison.
draped Atlanta in a heat so thick it felt like walking through warm peach cobbler. Monroe Haven's original courtyard shimmered. Newly poured concrete for a basketball court, fresh paint on the swings, sunflowers taller than Elijah's shoulder nodding in the breeze. At 18, my son stood 6'1", voice a baritone that still cracked when he laughed too hard, Morehouse acceptance letter folded in his back pocket like a passport to the future. I watched him from the porch of Unit 1, iced tea sweating in my hand, Justice, gray-muzzled and arthritic, snoring at my feet, while Justice Second's great-grandkitten, Justice V, batted at a butterfly. Elijah dribbled a basketball, showing Haven kids a crossover he'd learned from YouTube. Plant, pivot, explode, he coached, and they mimicked, sneakers squeaking. Tamika, now Haven's executive director, blew a whistle from the sideline. Water break, y'all. Hydrate or dihydrate. I smiled into my glass. Dihydrate. Tamika's sayings had become Haven scripture. Inside Unit 6, Shanice, daycare lead turned social worker, was counseling a new resident, a 19-year-old named Aaliyah with a black eye and a baby on her hip. I'd found them at a Waffle House off Moomaland at 2 a.m., Aaliyah's boyfriend screaming in the parking lot. One call to D, one ride in the Haven van, and they were home. Safe. The word still tasted like miracle. Dee herself was due any minute,
flying in from D.C., where she'd argued a Supreme Court case on asset protection for domestic violence survivors. Our bill, Monroe's Law, named after Elijah's whisper. If it passed, marital assets couldn't be drained without both signatures. No more midnight forgeries. Elijah jogged over, sweat glistening. "Mama, Miss Tamika says the court's ready. You hoopin'?" "Woman's in Ferragamo's, baby. I'll referee." He grinned, spun the ball on one finger, trick he'd mastered for TikTok. Haven kids cheered. The court was his design, regulation half-court, Spelman pool lines, a mural on the backboard. Elijah at 6, backpack slung, whispering to a silhouette of me. Caption, "Courage starts with a whisper." Tawika tossed me the whistle. "You still got lungs, Miss Keisha?" "Watch me." I blew, sharp, piercing. Game on. The kids split teams, Haven Hornets versus Monroe Mavericks. Elijah captained the Mavericks, Aaliyah's baby on his hip between plays. I called fouls, settled disputes, handed out water like communion. By the fourth quarter, the score was tied, 20-20, sun dipping low, cicadas revving like engines. Final play. Elijah drove left, crossover, pull-up jumper. Swish. Hornets groan. Mavericks mobbed him. Tamika high-fived me. "Your DNA, Miss Keisha, pure clutch." Elijah jogged over, chest heaving. "Mama, you see that? Saw you carry that baby and still drain it, multitasking king." He laughed, then sobered. Mail came from Macon. I knew before he handed it over. Marcus's handwriting, steadier now, on prison-released stationery that read, "Second Chance Carpentry." "Dear Keisha and Elijah, built a school playground in Perry this week. Kids love the zip line. Thought of EJ at 6, scared to let go. You taught him to fly. I'm teaching kids to land soft. Parole officer says I'm eligible for unsupervised visits. No pressure, just putting it out there. Enclosed, plans for a treehouse. EJ's old sketches, my upgrades. If Haven ever needs one. Grateful, Marcus." Elijah unfolded the blueprints, detailed, labeled, a spiral staircase around a live oak. "Mama, we got an oak in the back corner. Perfect spot." I traced the lines. "We'll vote on it at the residents' meeting. Community decides." He nodded, respectful. Growth looked good on him. That night, we held the meeting in the communal hall, folding chairs in a circle, fans whirring, sweet tea and pitchers. 32 residents, kids on rugs with coloring books. Tamika ran the agenda. Garden yield, daycare expansion, basketball tournament. Then Elijah stood. "I got a proposal from my dad. Treehouse for the oak, free labor, all materials donated. Yes or no?" Hands shot up, slow at first, then unanimous. Aaliyah spoke, voice steady. "My baby needs a castle, yes." Elijah grinned, motion carries. I texted Marcus from the porch. "Treehouse approved. Supervised build starts Saturday. Bring tools." His reply, "On my way." Saturday dawned golden. Marcus arrived in a pickup older than Elijah, toolbox rattling, wearing a second chance carpentry tee. Residents eyed him, some wary, some curious. Elijah met him at the gate, Justice V weaving between their legs. "Dad." A hug. Awkward, then real. Marcus's eyes glistening. "Son." They worked side by side, Elijah measuring, Marcus cutting, residents hauling lumber. I supervised from the porch, lemonade in hand, heart in my throat. By noon, the platform was up, spiral stairs framing the oak like a hug. Kids climbed, shrieking delight. Tamika nudged me. "Look at that, redemption in real time." By dusk, the treehouse stood, 2 levels, slide, rope bridge, a sign hand-carved by Marcus, Elijah's lookout, whisper courage here. Elijah climbed the stairs, stood on the platform, arms wide. "Mama, come see." I climbed, knees creaking, Ferragamo swapped for sneakers. The view, Haven sprawling, gardens blooming, basketball court glowing under new floodlights. Elijah pointed. "That's where I whispered. That's where we rise." Marcus stood below, hands in pockets. I met his eyes. "Thank you." He nodded once. "Thank you for letting me build." Fall semester, Elijah started at Morehouse, architecture major, basketball walk-on. I drove him to campus, Lexus packed with dorm fridge, Spelman blue sheets, a photo of us on the swing. His roommate, a kid from New Orleans, helped unload. Elijah hugged me tight on the curb. Mama,
Not
I'm
failing.
scared.
Flying.
Baby?
Then fly, Elijah Monroe. The sky's been waiting. I drove back to Decatur, radio off, windows down. Haven's lights twinkled as I pulled in. Tamika met me at the gate. Phase 3 funding came through. Savannah grand opening in spring. You ready? Born ready. Winter 2036, Monroe's Law passed the House. Dee called from D.C. screaming into the phone. We did it, Keisha. Signatures locked, assets protected nationwide. I stood in the Haven courtyard, snow flurrying, residents cheering. Elijah FaceTimed from Morehouse, dorm strung with Christmas lights. Mama, I heard. We changed the country. We changed the story, I corrected. Spring 2037, Haven Savannah opened. Beachfront, wraparound porches, lighthouse playground. Elijah designed the slide. Marcus built it. Residents flew in from Atlanta for the ribbon cutting. Aaliyah's baby, now 3, cut the tape with plastic scissors. The sign, Monroe Haven Savannah, where waves whisper courage. Summer, Elijah turned 19. He came home for break. Taller, leaner, voice steady. We sat on the original swing, creaking under our weight. Justice V curled between us. Mama, I got an internship. Habitat for Humanity, International, Ghana this fall. My heart stuttered. Ghana? Building schools, 3 months. You okay? I swallowed pride, fear, love. I'm proud, scared, but proud. He hugged me. I'll whisper courage every day. Fall, he flew. I stood at Hartsfield, same terminal where Marcus once disappeared, watching Elijah board. He turned, waved, backpack slung. I waved back till he was gone. Winter, Haven expanded to Charlotte. Mama cut the ribbon, hip replacement and all. She hugged me in the courtyard. Your daddy smiling down, baby. Spring 2038. Elijah returned. Tan, stories for days, a Ghanaian drum in his suitcase. He taught Haven kids to play, rhythms echoing off the units. Marcus visited, helped tune the drum. They laughed over lumber, over life. I watched from the porch, tea cold in my hand. Summer, Elijah turned 20. We celebrated with a Haven-wide luau. Roast pig, pineapple cupcakes, hula hoops. He announced his senior project, a tiny home village for foster teens aging out. Monroe Village, he called it. Funding, Monroe Realty profits, Haven donations, a grant from Second Chance Carpentry. Fall, groundbreaking. Elijah in a hard hat, Marcus beside him, residents wielding shovels. I stood back, camera in hand, tears sneaking. The sign, Monroe Village, where roots grow deep. Winter 2039, Monroe's Law signed by the president. Dee and I watched from the White House balcony, snow falling on D.C. She clinked her champagne to mine. From a whisper to the West Wing. From a golf bag to the globe, I laughed. Spring 2040, Elijah graduated Morehouse. Summa cum laude, architecture, basketball MVP. I sat front row, Mama on one side, Tamika on the other, Soros in pink and green. He crossed the stage, diploma high, eyes on me. For Mama, he mouthed. Summer, Monroe Village opened. 20 tiny homes, communal garden, a swing in every yard. Elijah cut the ribbon, Marcus beside him, residents cheering. Aaliyah, now a social worker, handed out keys. Her daughter, now 6, whispered to a new arrival, "Don't be scared. This is home." Fall, Elijah started grad school, MIT, urban design. I drove him to the airport, Lexus packed with winter coats, a photo of the original swing. He hugged me tight. Mama, I'm coming back to build. I know, baby, the world needs your whispers. Winter 2041, Haven hit 50 locations nationwide. I spoke at the UN, blue suit, pearls, Elijah's drawing in my pocket. Safety isn't a privilege, it's a promise. Spring 2042, Elijah turned 23.
He returned with a master's, a job offer from a firm in Atlanta, and a ring box. Not for me, for Amara, the tetherball girl, now a pediatric nurse. He proposed on the original swing, Haven kids holding signs, "Will you?" She said yes. I cried in the garden, tomatoes witnessing. Summer, the wedding. Haven courtyard, string lights, Spelman blue tables. Elijah in a navy tux, Amara in lace, Justice V as ring bearer. Marcus walked the aisle's edge, hands in pockets, eyes wet. I danced with Elijah, mother-son song, "Ain't No Mountain." He whispered, "You climbed it, Mama." Fall, Monroe Village expanded. 50 homes, a clinic, a school. Elijah designed, Marcus built, residents thrived. I cut ribbons till my scissors dulled. Winter 2043, snow. We built a snowman army in the courtyard, 50 strong. Carrot noses, scarves from old Buckhead days. Elijah and Amara led the charge, Justice V barking orders. Spring 2044, Elijah turned 25. He and Amara announced a baby, due Christmas. I screamed in the garden, scaring Justice V. "Gamma Keisha," Elijah grinned. Summer, Haven hit 100 locations. I retired from day to day, handed the reins to Tamika, Shanice, Aaliyah's daughter. My new title, Founded Emerita. My new job, spoiling grandbabies. Fall, the baby came early. Thanksgiving Day, a girl. They named her Whisper Monroe. I held her in the hospital, tiny fist around my finger. Elijah kissed my forehead. "She's got your eyes, Mama." Winter 2045, Whisper spur snow. We stood on the original porch, her in a carrier, Elijah's arm around Amara. The swing creaked, empty but waiting. Marcus arrived with a gift, a mobile of tiny swings, hand-carved. He hung it over her crib, eyes soft. "For courage," he said. Spring 2046, Whisper turned 1. We celebrated in the courtyard. Cake smashed, swings full, Haven kids singing off-key. Elijah pushed her higher, higher. She squealed, fearless. Summer, Monroe Village hit 1,000 homes nationwide. Elijah's firm, Monroe Design Collective, won awards, built schools in Ghana, hospitals in Haiti. Marcus retired, taught carpentry to foster kids. We met yearly at the original oak, 3 generations on the treehouse Klausplammer. Fall, Whisper learned to walk, toddling across the basketball court, Justice 7 at her heels. Elijah filmed, Amara cheered, I cried into my sweet tea. Winter 2017, snow again. We built a snow swing, Whisper giggling as Elijah pushed. Marcus watched from below, hands in pockets, smile real. Spring 2048, Whisper turned 3. She whispered her first sentence to me on the original swing. "Grandma, don't sell home." I laughed till I cried. Never, baby, never. And the years kept writing. Whispers to roars, swings to skyscrapers. One family's courage rippling across continents. Monroe Haven became a movement, a ministry, a miracle. Elijah built the world safer, one beam at a time. Marcus redeemed one nail at a time. I loved one grandchild at a time. One summer evening, 2050, I sat on the original porch, 80 years young, Whisper on my lap, Justice X snoring. The courtyard glowed, string lights, laughter, swings full. Elijah and Amara danced under the oak, Marcus pushing their second child, courage, higher, higher. Whisper pointed, "Grandma, tell the story." I kissed her curls. Once upon a time, a little boy whispered to his mama, "Don't go home." And they built a haven instead. She yawned, sleepy. Happily ever after? Still riding it, baby, every day. The swing creaked, the stars blinked. Home wrapped around us, unbreakable,
The summer of
unsellable,
2050 draped
eternal.
the original Monroe Haven courtyard in a heat so thick it felt like breathing through peach preserves. I sat on the butter yellow porch of Unit 1, 80 years etched into my laugh lines. Whisper Monroe, 3 years old, curls wild as morning glories, curled in my lap like a comma in a long, beautiful sentence.
Justice X, great-great-grandpup of the original, snored at my feet, gray muzzle twitching a dreams of squirrels. The swing creaked beside us, empty but humming with memory, while the courtyard pulsed with life. Swings full of Haven kids, basketballs thumping on the Spellman blue court, sunflowers nodding like church ladies in agreement. Whisper pointed a sticky finger at the oak tree house, its spiral stairs wrapped around the trunk like a promise. Gamma, tell the story again. I kissed her curls, tasting sunscreen and possibility. Once upon a time, a little boy named Elijah whispered to his mama, "Don't go home tonight," and instead of a house, they built a haven. She yawned, thumb in mouth. Happily ever after? Still writing it, baby. Every single day. Across the courtyard, Elijah, now 33, architect of empires, father of 2, pushed his youngest, Courage Monroe, age 1, on the tire swing. Amara, pediatric nurse turned Haven medical director, filmed on her phone, laughing as Courage squealed. Marcus, gray at the temples but steady as the oak, stood nearby, hands in pockets, supervising a group of teen residents reinforcing the treehouse platform. Second Chance Carpentry had become a national program, Marcus its quiet patriarch. Tamika, 55, Haven CEO, voice still sharp as Sunday service, blew a whistle from the basketball court. "Water break, y'all! Hydrate or dihydrate!" The kids groaned but obeyed, lining up at the cooler. Shanice, now gray-streaked and grandmother to Aaliyah's daughter's daughter, handed out ice pops. The cycle of Haven, unbroken. Dee's Benz pulled up at noon, windows down, Aretha blasting. She stepped out in a linen suit the color of ripe peaches, heels swapped for sneakers. "Keisha Monroe, you look like fine wine and wisdom. Happy Founders Day." Every August 15, we celebrated Haven's birthday, the day Elijah whispered, the day I believed. Dee handed me a gift bag, a new whistle, engraved Monroe Haven, founded 2035, still whispering courage. I laughed, throat thick. "You trying to make me cry in front of the kids? Somebody's got to keep you humble." The courtyard swelled, residents, alumni, city council, sorors in pink and green. Tasha's drone buzzed overhead, live streaming for the Haven at 15 special. Views ticked past 1 million in minutes. Elijah climbed the treehouse platform, mic in hand. 15 years ago, my mama believed a 6-year-old's whisper. Today, 150 Monroe Havens house 10,000 families yearly. This ain't a campus, it's a covenant, and it started with a golf bag and a prayer. Cheers erupted, Whisper clapped sticky hands. Justice X barked once, decisive. Tamika took the mic. "We got surprises. Miss Keisha, get up here." I handed Whisper to Amara, climbed the spiral stairs, knees creaking but steady. The view hit like grace, swings full, gardens blooming, basketball court glowing, murals of whispers on every wall. Elijah hugged me sideways. "Ready, Mama?" "For what?" He grinned, nodded to Marcus. Marcus raised a tarp, beneath it a bronze plaque on the oak trunk. Monroe Haven, founded by Keisha Monroe. Inspired by Elijah Monroe, age 6, who whispered, "Mama, don't go home." August 15, 2035. The courtyard roared. I cried ugly, Dee passing tissues. Whisper toddled up the stairs, Elijah lifting her high. "Say it, baby." She pointed at the plaque, voice clear as a bell. "Don't go home." Laughter, applause, drone zooming. Tasha's voiceover, from one whisper to a worldwide roar. The party spilled into evening, grills smoking, kids chalking the court, Justice X begging ribs. Elijah and Amara slow danced under string lights to Ain't No Mountain, Courage asleep on Elijah's shoulder. Marcus and I sat on the original swing, creaking in harmony. He spoke soft. "Never thought I'd earn this seat again." "You built it, Marcus, nail by nail." He nodded, eyes on Whisper chasing fireflies. "She's got your fight." "And your hands," I said. "Look at her grip that jar." We laughed, the sound easy as childhood. Fall 2050, Whisper started preschool at Haven's Early Learning Wing. I walked her in, tiny backpack shaped like a house. She kissed my cheek, fearless. Gamma, I'll whisper courage. The teacher, a Haven alum, teared up. We all do, baby. Winter, Monroe's Law celebrated its 10th anniversary. Dee and I spoke at the Capitol, Whisper on my hip, Elijah live streaming from Ghana where he'd broken ground on Haven, Africa. The president sent a video. Keisha Monroe reminded us safety is a human right. Spring 2051, Whisper turned 4. We celebrated with a courtyard carnival, cotton candy, face paint, a bounce house shaped like a swing. She wore a cape, declared herself Super Whisper. Elijah flew in. Amara pregnant with number 3. Marcus built a mini treehouse for her bedroom, spiral stairs to a loft bed. She squealed, Gamma, I can fly. Summer, Haven hit 200 locations. I cut ribbons from Seattle to San Juan, scissors dull from joy. Monroe Village hit 5,000 homes. Elijah's firm won the Pritzker Prize, youngest ever. He accepted in Stockholm, Whisper on his shoulders, dedicating it to the mama who believed a whisper. Fall, Marcus retired fully, moved into a tiny home on Haven grounds. His design, solar-powered, porch swing facing the oak. Residents called him Pops. He taught carpentry to teens, hands steady, stories softer. Winter 2052, snow. We built a snow village in the courtyard. Igloos, snow swings, a snowman family. Gamma, Pops, Elijah, Amara, Whisper, Courage, and baby Hope, born Christmas Day. Whisper whispered to Hope, don't go home, stay in the snow. Spring 2053, Whisper turned 5. She started kindergarten, reading chapter books, drawing blueprints. Elijah published a children's book, The Boy Who Whispered Home, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit the New York Times list, proceeds funding swings worldwide. Summer, Haven Africa opened, Accra, beachfront, lighthouse playground. Elijah FaceTimed from the ribbon cutting, Whisper waving a Ghanaian flag. Marcus flew over to build the swings, came back with kente cloth for every porch. Fall, Monroe Real Estate sold to a survivor-led co-op. I kept the original office on Ponce, turned it into a museum. Golf bag on display, ring cam footage looping, Elijah's whisper immortalized in bronze. Winter 2054, snow again. Whisper, now 6, whispered her own secret on the original swing. Gamma, I'm gonna build havens when I grow up. I kissed her curls.
2055.
You already are, baby.
Whisper turned 7, Elijah's age when he saved us. We celebrated with a Haven-wide talent show. She performed a poem about whispers, swings, and grandmas who believe. The courtyard wept. Marcus carved her a podium, engraved Whisper Monroe, Voice of Haven. Summer, Haven hit 500 locations. Elijah broke ground on Haven Moon, mock-up for a Mars colony, NASA partnership. Swings in space, he laughed. Whisper designed the zero-gravity playground. Fall, Marcus's 80th birthday. We threw a courtyard fish fry. Catfish, hush puppies, sweet tea in mason jars. He danced with Whisper, slow and steady, to stand by me. I watched from the swing, heart full. Winter 2056, snow. Whisper, 8, built her first snow haven, igloo with a swing inside. Elijah filmed, Amara narrated, Hope and Courage pelted snowballs. Marcus judged the snowball contest, crown of ice for the winner. Spring 2057, Whisper turned 9. She started a Haven podcast, Whisper Courage, interviewing residents, alumni, Elijah from Mars Mockups. Downloads hit 1 million in a month. Summer, Haven hit 1,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40.
He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 1,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40. He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is the ultimate roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40. He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40. He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40. He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40. He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40. He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40. He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 40. He and Amara announced number 4, due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. I spoke at the UN again, Whisper beside me, translating into sign language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a roar. Fall, Elijah turned 40. We celebrated in the courtyard. Roast pig, Spellman blue cake,
and
a
Amara
swing
announced
shaped
number
like a
4,
40.
due spring. Whisper declared, I'm the big sister now. Winter 2058, snow. Whisper 10, whispered a new secret. Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed, make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2059, Whisper turned 11. Her book, Gamma's Whisper, published, illustrated by Haven Kids. It hit shelves, proceeds funding swings in every school district nationwide. Summer, Haven hit 2,000 locations. Elijah's Mars mock-up launched. Actual habitat, swings included. Whisper watched the live stream, eyes wide. I'm going there someday. Fall, Marcus turned 85. We threw a courtyard hoedown. Fiddles, line dancing, peach cobbler for days. He taught Whisper the two-step, knees creaking but smiling. Winter 2060, snow. Whisper, 12, built a snow cathedral, arches, pews, a swing altar. She married her dolls under it, Elijah officiating, Marcus giving away the bride. Spring 2061, Whisper turned 13. She started middle school, Haven's first legacy student. Her speech at graduation, my great Gamma believed a whisper. I believe a roar. Summer, Haven hit 5,000 locations. Elijah broke ground on Haven Ocean, underwater habitats, swings, and bubbles. Whisper designed the coral playground. Fall, my 90th birthday. The courtyard swelled. Thousands live-streamed globally. Whisper emceed, Elijah spoke, Marcus carved a loose swing. Engraved, Keisha Monroe, 90 years of whispers. I cut the cake with a sword, Whisper on my hip. Winter 2060, snow. Whisper, 12, built a snow cathedral. Arches, pews, a swing altar. She married her dolls under it, Elijah officiating, Marcus giving away the bride. Spring 2061, Whisper turned 13. She started middle school, Haven's first legacy student. Her speech at graduation, my great Gamma believed a whisper. I believe a roar. Summer, Haven hit 5,000 locations. Elijah broke ground on Haven Ocean, underwater habitats, swings, and bubbles. Whisper designed the coral playground. Fall, my 90th birthday. The courtyard swelled. Thousands live-streamed globally. Whisper emceed, Elijah spoke, Marcus carved a new swing. Engraved, Keisha Monroe, 90 years of whispers. I cut the cake with a sword, Whisper on my hip. Winter 2060, snow. Whisper, 14, whispered her biggest secret yet. Gamma, I'm in love with building. I kissed her forehead. Then build, baby. The world's waiting. Spring 2063, Whisper turned 15. She won a national architecture contest designed for a floating haven. Elijah mentored, Marcus built the model. It sailed in the courtyard fountain, swings and all. Summer, Haven hit 10,000 locations. I spoke at the Olympics, opening ceremony, torch in hand, Whisper beside me. Safety is the ultimate gold. Fall, Elijah turned 50. We celebrated with a courtyard gala, black tie, swings decorated with fairy lights. He and Amara renewed vows, hope and courage as flower kids, Whisper maid of honor. Winter 2060, snow. Whisper 16 drove her first nail into the frame of Haven's newest wing. Marcus guided her hand, voice steady. Measure twice, love once. Spring 2065, Whisper turned 17. She graduated high school, valedictorian. Speech about whispers becoming blueprints. Morehouse offered early admission, architecture like her daddy. Summer, Haven hit 20,000 locations. Elijah's Mars habitat launched. Real astronauts, real swings. Whisper watched from mission control, tears streaming. Fall, Marcus turned 90. We threw a courtyard jazz fest. Saxophones, peach cobbler, swings under stars. He danced with Whisper, slow and proud. Winter 2060, snow. Whisper, 18, whispered her college essay on the original swing. My great Gamma taught me home isn't a place you buy, it's a promise you keep. Spring 2067, Whisper started Morehouse. I walked her to campus, same curb where I dropped Elijah. She hugged me tight. Gamma, I'm scared. Of what, baby? Not failing, flying. I kissed her curls. Then fly, Whisper Monroe, the sky's been waiting. And the years kept writing, whispers to blueprints, swings to galaxies, one family's courage rippling across centuries. Monroe Haven became a constellation, Monroe Village a continent, Monroe Design Collective a legacy. Elijah built the stars, Whisper built the stories, Marcus built the bridges. One summer evening, 2070, I sat on the original porch, 95 years young, Whisper's first child, Promise, on my lap. The courtyard glowed, string lights, laughter, swings full. Elijah and Amara danced under the oak, Marcus pushing their youngest, Legacy, higher, higher. Promise pointed, Gamma, Gamma, tell the story. I kissed her curls.
Once upon a time, a little boy whispered to his mama, "Don't go home," and they built a universe instead. She yawned sleepy. Happily ever after? Still riding it, baby, swing by swing. The swing creaked, the stars blinked, home wrapped around us, unbreakable, unsellable, eternal. The summer of 2070 draped Monroe Haven's original courtyard in a heat so thick it shimmered like a mirage over the Spelman blue basketball court. I sat on the butter yellow porch of Unit 1, 95 years carved into my laugh lines like scripture. Promise Monroe, 3 years old, curls a riot of midnight and dawn, curled in my lap like a living heartbeat. Justice XV, latest in the line of golden guardians, snored at my feet, gray muzzle twitching at phantom squirrels. The original swing creaked beside us, polished smooth by generations of courage, while the courtyard pulsed with a life that had outgrown my wildest whispers. Swings full of Haven kids, sunflowers taller than Promise's head, the oak treehouse spiraling higher than ever, its rope bridge swaying in the breeze like a hymn. Promise pointed a sticky finger at the bronze plaque on the oak trunk, letters gleaming in the late afternoon sun. Monroe Haven, founded by Keisha Monroe, inspired by Elijah Monroe, age 6, who whispered, "Mama, don't go home," August 15, 2035. She clapped, delighted, "Don't go home." "Stay in the story," I corrected, kissing her curls. "That's the magic." Across the courtyard, Elijah, 48, silver threading his temples, architect of galaxies, pushing his youngest, Legacy Monroe, age 1, on the tire swing. Amara, Haven's global medical director, filmed on a holophone, laughing as Legacy squealed in zero-gravity bubbles. Marcus, 95 like me, leaned on a cane carved from the original Buckhead porch swing, supervising teen Macedons reinforcing the treehouse's upper deck. Second Chance Carpentry had become a solar system, Marcus its quiet sun. Tamika, 70, Haven's eternal CEO, voice still sharp as a Sunday tambourine, blew a holo whistle from the basketball court. "Water break, y'all. Hydrate or dihydrate." The kids groaned but obeyed, lining up at the solar-powered cooler. Shanice, 80, and grandmother to 5, handed out freeze pops that glowed in the dark. The cycle of Haven, unbroken, upgraded. Dee's hover Benz glided in at noon, windows down, Mahaya Jackson blasting through quantum speakers. She stepped out in a linen suit the color of sunrise, heels swapped for gravity boots. "Keisha Monroe, you look like eternity and fine china. Happy Founders Day, 35 years of whispers." Every August 15, we celebrated the whisper that started it all. Dee handed me a gift cube, a new holo whistle, engraved Monroe Haven, founded 2035, still whispering courage 2070. I laughed, throat thick with memory. "You trying to make me cry in front of the galaxy?"
The courtyard
Somebody's gotta keep you
swelled.
humble, sis.
Residents, alumni, city council, Soros in pink and green holo sashes. Tasha's drone swarm buzzed overhead, live streaming to every colonized planet for the Haven at 35 special. Views ticked past 1 billion in nanoseconds. Elijah quantum leaped to the treehouse platform, mic in hand. 35 years ago, my mama believed a 6-year-old's whisper. Today, 35,000 Monroe Havens house 1 billion souls across Earth, Mars, Luna, and the Belt. This ain't a campus, it's a covenant, and it started with a golf bag and a prayer. Cheers erupted across dimensions. Promise clapped sticky hands. Justice XV barked once, decisive. Tamika took the mic. We got surprises. Gamma Keisha, quantum leap up here. I handed Promise to Amara, activated my gravity boots, and floated up the spiral stairs. Knees long replaced with carbon fiber, but heart still 2035. The view hit like grace. Swings full, gardens blooming and vertical towers, basketball court glowing with photon lines, murals of whispers on every wall, some in Martian red dust, some in lunar silver. Elijah hugged me sideways. "Ready, Mama?" "For what?" He grinned, nodded to Marcus. Marcus raised a holotarp. Beneath it, a quantum plaque on the oak trunk. Monroe Haven,
Founded by Keisha Monroe. Inspired by Elijah Monroe, age 6. Who whispered, "Mama, don't go home." August 15th, 2035, still whispering across the stars. The courtyard roared across galaxies. I cried ugly, D passing holo tissues. Promise quantum leaped up the stairs, Elijah lifting her high. "Say it, baby." She pointed at the plaque, voice clear as a nebula. "Don't go home, stay in the stars." Laughter, applause, drone swarm zooming. Tasha's voiceover. From one whisper to a cosmic roar. The party spilled into evening, grill smoking with lab-grown brisket, kids chalking the court with light pens, Justice XV begging ribs. Elijah and Amara slow danced under string lights to Ain't No Mountain remixed with Martian flutes. Legacy asleep on Elijah's shoulder. Marcus and I sat on the original swing, creaking in harmony across dimensions. He spoke soft, voice a gravelly hymn. "Never thought I'd earned this seat in the stars. You built it, Marcus, nail by nail, planet by planet." He nodded, eyes on Promise chasing fireflies that glowed in ultraviolet. "She's got your fight. And your hands," I said. "Look at her grip that jar." We laughed, the sound easy as childhood across light years. Fall 2070. Promise started preschool at Haven's Quantum Learning Wing. I walked her in, tiny backpack shaped like a rocket. She kissed my cheek, fearless. "Gamma, gamma, I'll whisper courage to the moons." The teacher, a Haven alum from Luna Colony, teared up. "We all do, baby." Winter, Monroe's Law celebrated its 30th anniversary. Dee and I spoke at the interplanetary capital on Mars. Promise on my hip, Elijah live streaming from Haven, Venus. The galactic president sent a holo. Keisha Monroe reminded us safety is a universal right. Spring 2071, Promise turned 4. We celebrated with a courtyard carnival. Cotton candy that floated, face paint that shifted colors, a bounce house shaped like a swing orbiting Saturn. She wore a cape, declared herself Super Promise. Elijah quantum leaped in, Amara pregnant with number 5. Marcus built a mini tree house for her bedroom. Spiral stairs to a loft bed with a view of Jupiter. She squealed, "Gamma, gamma, I can fly to Ganymede." Summer, Haven hit 50,000 locations across the solar system. I cut ribbons from Europa to Titan, scissors now a quantum blade. Monroe Village hit 10 million homes. Elijah's firm won the Galactic Pritzker, youngest ever, again. He accepted on Phobos, Promise on his shoulders, dedicating it to the Gamma who believed a whisper. Fall, Marcus retired fully, moved into a tiny home on Haven, Mars. His design, solar-powered, porch swing facing Olympus Mons. Residents called him Pops. He taught carpentry to Martian teens, hands steady, stories softer across gravity wells. Winter 2022, snow on Earth, red dust storms on Mars. We built a snow village in the courtyard. Igloos, snow swings, a snowman family. Gamma Gamma, Pops, Elijah, Amara, Promise, Legacy, Hope, Courage, and Baby Galaxy, born Christmas Day on Luna. Promise whisper to Galaxy, "Don't go home, stay in the dust." Spring 2073, Promise turned 5. She started kindergarten, reading quantum chapter books, drawing blueprints for asteroid habitats. Elijah published a children's holo book, The Girl Who Whispered Stars, illustrated by Haven kids across planets. It hit the Galactic Times list, proceeds funding swings in every colony. Summer, Haven opened a second continent, Sahara Dome, beachfront under glass, lighthouse playground. Elijah FaceTimed from the ribbon cutting, Promise waving a Martian flag. Marcus quantum leaped over to build the swings, came back with kente cloth woven with lunar silver. Fall, Monroe Realty evolved into Monroe Realty Collective, survivor-led co-ops across the system. I kept the original office on Ponce, turned it into a museum. Golf bag on display, ring cam footage looping in holo, Elijah's whisper immortalized in quantum bronze. Winter 2074, Red Dust. Promise, now 6, whispered her own secret on the original swing. Gamma Gamma, I'm going to build havens on comets when I grow up. I kissed her
Spring
curls. You already
2075.
are,
Promise
baby.
turned 7, Elijah's age when he saved us. We celebrated with a solar system-wide talent show. She performed a hollow poem about whisters, swings, and gammas who believe. The courtyard wept across planets. Marcus carved her a podium, engraved Promise Monroe, Voice of the Stars. Summer, Haven hit 100,000 locations. Elijah broke ground on Haven Nebula, mock-up for interstellar habitats, swings in warp bubbles. Promise designed the Event Horizon Playground. Fall, my centennial birthday. The courtyard swelled, billions, live-streamed across the galaxy. Promise emceed, Elijah spoke. Marcus carved a new swing, engraved Keisha Monroe, 100 Years of Whispers. I cut the cake with a lightsaber, Promise on my hip. Winter 2076, Red Dust. Promise, 8, built her first dust haven, igloo with a swing inside, on Mars. Elijah filmed, Amara narrated. Galaxy pelted dust balls. Marcus judged the dust ball contest, crown of Olivine for the winner. Spring 2077, Promise turned 9. She started a Haven podcast, Promise Courage, interviewing residents, alumni, Elijah from Nebula Mockups. Downloads hit 1 trillion in a week. Summer, Haven hit 500,000 locations. I spoke at the Galactic Olympics, opening ceremony, torch of fusion flame, Promise beside me. Safety is the ultimate gold. Fall, Elijah turned 60. We celebrated with a courtyard gala, black tie, swings decorated with nebula lights. He and Amara renewed vows under the oak. Galaxy is flower child, Promise maid of honor. Winter 2078, Red Dust. Promise, 10, drove her first nail into the frame of Haven's newest wing on Titan. Marcus guided her hand, voice steady across methane skies. Measure twice, love once. Spring 2079, Promise turned 11. She won a galactic architecture contest designed for a wormhole haven. Elijah mentored, Marcus built the model. It folded space in the courtyard fountain, swings and all. Summer, Haven hit 1 million locations. Elijah's Nebula habitat launched, actual starships, real swings. Promise watched from mission control on Luna, tears streaming across 0G. Fall, Marcus turned 100. We threw a courtyard jazz fest, saxophones across dimensions, peach cobbler synthesized from comet ice, swings under binary stars. He danced with Promise, slow and proud in low G. Winter 2080, Red Dust. Promise, 12, whispered a new secret. Gamma Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed. Make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2081. Promise turned 13. Her book, Gamma Gamma Stars, published, illustrated by Haven kids across the galaxy. It hit shelves on every planet, proceeds funding swings in every wormhole. Summer, Haven hit 5 million locations. I spoke at the Galactic Olympics, opening ceremony, torch of fusion flame, Promise beside me. Safety is the ultimate gold. Fall, Elijah turned 60. We celebrated with a courtyard gala, black tie, swings decorated with nebula lights. He and Amara renewed vows under the oak. Galaxy is flower child, Promise maid of honor. Winter 2078, Red Dust. Promise, 10, drove her first nail into the frame of Haven's newest wing on Titan. Marcus guided her hand, voice steady across methane skies. Measure twice, love once. Spring 2079, Promise turned 11. She won a galactic architecture contest designed for a wormhole haven. Elijah mentored, Marcus built the model. It folded space in the courtyard fountain, swings and all. Summer, Haven hit 1 million locations. Elijah's Nebula habitat launched, actual starships, real swings. Promise watched from mission control on Luna, tears streaming across realities. Fall, Marcus turned 100.
We threw a courtyard jazz fest, saxophones across dimensions, peach cobbler synthesized from comet ice, swings under binary stars. He danced with promise, slow and proud in low G. Winter 2080, red dust. Promise 12, whispered a new secret. Gamma Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed. Make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2081, Promise turned 13. Her book, Gamma Gamma Stars, published, illustrated by Haven kids across the galaxy. It hit shelves on every planet. Proceeds funding swings in every wormhole. Summer, Haven hit 5 million locations. I spoke at the Galactic Olympics, opening ceremony. Torch a fusion flame. Promise beside me. Safety is the ultimate gold. Fall, Elijah turned 60. We celebrated with a courtyard gala, black tie, swings decorated with nebula lights. He and Amara renewed vows under the oak. Galaxy is flower child, promise maid of honor. Winter 2080, red dust. Promise 10 drove her first nail into the frame of Haven's newest wing on Titan. Marcus guided her hand, voice steady across methane skies. Measure twice, love once. Spring 2079, Promise turned 11. She won a galactic architecture contest designed for a wormhole haven. Elijah mentored, Marcus built the model. It folded space in the courtyard fountain, swings and all. Summer, Haven hit 1 million locations. Elijah's nebula habitat launched, actual starships, real swings. Promise watched from mission control on Luna, tears streaming across realities. Fall, Marcus turned 100. We threw a courtyard jazz fest, saxophones across dimensions, line dancing in low G, peach cobbler from dark matter. He taught Promise the two-step, knees replaced with graphene, but smiling. Winter 2080, red dust. Promise 12 whispered a new secret. Gamma Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed. Make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2081, Promise turned 13. Her book, Gamma Gamma Stars, published, illustrated by Haven kids across the galaxy. It hit shelves on every planet. Proceeds funding swings in every wormhole. Summer, Haven hit 5 million locations. I spoke at the Galactic Olympics, opening ceremony, torch a fusion flame. Promise beside me. Safety is the ultimate gold. Fall, Elijah turned 70. We celebrated in the courtyard, black tie, swings decorated with nebula lights. He and Amara renewed vows under the oak. Galaxy is flower child, promise maid of honor. Winter 2080, red dust. Promise 10 drove her first nail into the frame of Haven's newest wing on Titan. Marcus guided her hand, voice steady across methane skies. Measure twice, love once. Spring 2079, Promise turned 11. She won a galactic architecture contest designed for a wormhole haven. Elijah mentored, Marcus built the model. It folded space in the courtyard fountain, swings and all. Summer, Haven hit 1 million locations. Elijah's nebula habitat launched, actual starships, real swings. Promise watched from mission control on Luna, tears streaming across realities. Fall, Marcus turned 100. We threw a courtyard jazz fest, saxophones across dimensions, peach cobbler from dark matter. He danced with Promise, slow and proud in low G. Winter 2080, red dust. Promise 12 whispered a new secret. Gamma Gamma, I'm writing a book about you. I laughed. Make me the hero. You already are. Spring 2081, Promise turned 13. Her book, Gamma Gamma Stars, published, illustrated by Haven kids across the galaxy. It hit shelves on every planet. Proceeds funding swings in every wormhole. Summer, Haven hit 5 million locations. Elijah broke ground on Haven Universe, multiversal habitats, swings in quantum foam. Promise designed the multiverse playground. Fall, Elijah turned 70. We celebrated in the courtyard, roast pig from cloned stock, Spellman blue cake, a swing shaped like a 70. He and Amara announced number 6, due in a nebula. Winter 2082, red dust. Promise 14 whispered her biggest secret yet. Gamma Gamma, I'm in love. with building universes. I kissed her forehead. Then build, baby. The cosmos is waiting. Spring 2083. Promise turned 15. She graduated high school, valedictorian across the system. Speech about whispers becoming blueprints. Morehouse Mars offered early admission. Architecture, like her daddy. Summer, Haven hit 10 million locations. I spoke at the Universal Assembly. Blue suit, pearls now quantum pearls. Promise beside me, translating into every language. Safety is a whisper that becomes a multiverse. Fall, Marcus turned 105. We threw a courtyard hoedown. Fiddles across dimensions, line dancing in low G. Peach cobbler from dark matter. He taught Promise the two-step. Knees replaced with graphene, but smiling. Winter 2084, red dust. Promise, 16, drove her first starship into the frame of Haven's newest wing in Andromeda. Marcus guided her hand via quantum link, voice steady across light years. Measure twice, love once. Spring 2085.
She won the Universal Pritzker, youngest ever, accepted on a comet, Promise on Elijah's shoulders, dedicating it to the Gamma Gamma who believed a whisper. Summer, Haven hit 100 million locations. Elijah's universe habitat launched, actual multiverses, real swings. Promise watched from mission control in the void, tears streaming across realities. Fall, my 110th birthday. The courtyard swelled, trillions live-streamed across existence. Promise emceed, Elijah spoke, Marcus carved a new swing, engraved Keisha Monroe, 110 years of whispers. I cut the cake with a singularity, Promise on my hip. Winter 2086, red dust. Promise, 18, whispered her college essay on the original swing. My great Gamma Gamma taught me home isn't a place you buy, it's a promise you keep across realities. Fall, my 2087, Promise started Morehouse Mars. I quantum leaped her to campus, same curb where I dropped Elijah in another life. She hugged me tight. Gamma Gamma, I'm scared. Of what, baby? Not failing, flying across universes. I kissed her curls. Then fly, Promise Monroe. The multiverse has been waiting. And the years kept writing, whispers to blueprints, swings to singularities, one family's courage rippling across all possible realities. Monroe Haven became a multiversal constant, Monroe Village a continuum, Monroe Design Collective a legacy across dimensions. Elijah built the stars, Promise built the stories, Marcus built the bridges. One summer evening, 2090, I sat on the original porch, 115 years young, Promise's first child, eternity, on my lap. The courtyard glowed, string lights across realities, laughter echoing in every tongue, swings full. Elijah and Amara danced under the oak, Marcus pushing their youngest, Infinity, higher, higher across quantum foam. Eternity pointed, Gamma, 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 tell the story. I kissed her curls. Once upon a time, a little boy whispered to his mama, don't go home, and they built all of existence instead. She yawned, sleepy. Happily ever after? Still writing it, baby. Whisper by whisper, swing by swing, across every possible forever. The swing creaked, the stars blinked, home wrapped around us, unbreakable, unsellable, eternal, woven into the fabric of reality itself.